In a world clamoring for your constant attention, an ancient wisdom offers a path to reclaiming your focus and inner peace through the power of deliberate restraint. Explore this vital perspective, inspired by Stoic ideals, as we delve into why thoughtfully limiting your accessibility can lead to a more meaningful life. If you're seeking to cultivate inner strength and wisdom in a noisy world, subscribe to the Stoic Code channel for more insights. 1. The electric paradox of presence. Less is magnetism. Imagine a constant hum in the background, a persistent notification blinking on your screen. At first, it might grab your attention, but eventually it fades into the mundane, a mere pixel in the periphery of your awareness. This, in essence, is the paradox of overexposure. In our relentlessly always-on world, where availability is lauded as a virtue, the Stoics whisper a counterintuitive truth. The more you make yourself constantly accessible, the less your presence truly resonates. It's like that favorite song you once cherished, now relegated to the background noise of your commute after being played on repeat ad nauseum. Familiarity in this context doesn't breed affection. It often cultivates a quiet indifference, a taking for granted of your time and energy. Think about a rare celestial event, a comet streaking across the night sky. Its fleeting appearance commands awe and attention precisely because it's not a nightly occurrence. Similarly, when your presence isn't a constant expectation, it transforms into a deliberate act, carrying a weight and significance that constant availability can never achieve. It's about understanding the subtle dance between engagement and withdrawal, a rhythm that creates texture and meaning in your interactions. Absence, when wielded thoughtfully, isn't neglect. It's a crucial refinement, the invisible brushstroke that makes your presence truly vivid. It's the silence that amplifies the power of your words, the space that allows your actions to breathe and be truly noticed. Consider the impact of a well-timed entrance, a carefully considered response offered amidst a flurry of noise. These moments cut through the static precisely because they aren't part of the constant barrage. They feel earned, significant, worthy of attention. Conversely, when you're perpetually within reach, your presence becomes an assumption, a predictable element of the landscape, easily overlooked. It cheapens your most valuable currency, your time and energy. The Stoic, a master sculptor of their own lives, understands that presence isn't something to be broadcast. It's something to be curated, a deliberate offering, not a default setting. They recognize that saying no isn't an act of rudeness, but a powerful declaration of self-respect, a reclaiming of precious resources for what truly matters. By creating strategic distance, they don't diminish their connections. They deepen them, ensuring that when they do engage, it's with intention and genuine presence, leaving a lasting impact rather than a fleeting impression. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding the fundamental principles of human perception and the inherent magnetism of considered scarcity. 2. Fortifying the inner citadel, guarding the gates of your mind. Imagine your mind as a magnificent fortress, capable of profound thought, creativity, and unwavering inner peace. Now picture leaving its gates wide open, day and night, allowing every passing opinion, fleeting trend, and unsolicited demand to wander in uninvited. Chaos ensues. The once orderly halls become cluttered with mental debris. The clear springs of thought become muddied by the constant influx of external noise. This is the reality of an unguarded mind in our relentlessly communicative world. The Stoics, those astute architects of the inner self, understood the paramount importance of fortifying this mental citadel. Epictetus, a former slave who rose to become a profound Stoic philosopher, wisely taught the necessity of guarding our impressions, For these initial encounters shape our judgments, and our judgments dictate our experience of life. How can we possibly maintain this vigilance if we allow a constant stream of unfiltered information and demands to flood our mental landscape? Every notification, every casual chat, every piece of content consumed becomes a guest within this fortress. Not all guests are benevolent. Some are noisy, disruptive, and leave behind a residue of anxiety or negativity. You wouldn't knowingly invite toxic individuals into your home. Why then would you allow their mental equivalents to take up residence in your mind? Consider the insidious nature of mental clutter. A rude comment from a stranger online, a trending controversy amplified by algorithms, a snippet of gossip disguised as news. These seemingly small intrusions can take root and fester, multiplying into a cacophony of internal noise. One fleeting thought can balloon into 10, a simple post can ignite an internal argument, and a casual message can morph into a gnawing anxiety. All the while, the precious clarity that the Stoics prized above all else becomes obscured, like a pristine lake covered in a layer of algae. In this reactive state, you are no longer the captain of your own ship. You are tossed about by the waves of external stimuli, losing sight of your own values and priorities. Living as a Stoic in this context is an act of conscious curation. It's about deliberately choosing your company, your conversations, and your commitments, not as an act of isolation, but as a vital form of insulation. It's about preserving the stillness necessary for clear thinking and wise action, protecting the sacred interior that is constantly pressured to externalize and react. Every moment of mental clarity is earned through the discipline of choosing silence over chatter, reflection over reaction, and intention over impulse. Setting boundaries isn't about building walls, it's about establishing clear property lines for your mind, defining what you will and will not allow to take root within your inner sanctum. In a world that relentlessly demands your attention, even the act of choosing silence becomes a powerful statement of sovereignty, a declaration that your mental space is not a public playground, but a carefully guarded sanctuary. 3. The sacred economy of energy, investing wisely in your vital force. Imagine your energy as a precious, finite currency. Every interaction, every commitment, every moment spent scrolling through endless feeds is a withdrawal from this vital account. The Stoics, those pragmatic philosophers of living well, understood this fundamental truth with profound clarity. They weren't advocating for a life of monastic isolation, but rather a life free from the insidious drain of wasted energy. They recognized that this vital force, much like time itself, must be directed with precision and purpose, not squandered on obligations born of guilt, vanity, or the pervasive fear of missing out. Seneca, that eloquent Stoic statesman, cautioned against being swept away by the passions of others, recognizing how easily life becomes disjointed when we allow ourselves to be yanked from our own path by every whim, every plea, every external urgency. When you become overly accessible, you are essentially opening the floodgates to the chaos of others. Their emergencies become your distractions, their dramas your dilemmas. You find yourself entangled in solving problems that aren't yours, fighting battles that leave you weary and wondering why you feel so utterly depleted. You attend events that offer little nourishment to your soul. You say yes when your inner voice screams a resounding no. This isn't compassion, it's a slow, insidious erosion of your very being. You feel the drain, the inexplicable fatigue, and you wonder at its source. The truth is, you weren't designed to be an endlessly available resource. Your inherent purpose lies in preserving your focus for higher aims, in directing your precious energy towards your core values, your craft, your guiding principles, your true calling. The more you allow yourself to be constantly interrupted and pulled in different directions, the less progress you make in building what truly matters: your inner circle, your family, your life's purpose, your physical and mental well-being, your spiritual foundation. These are the areas where your energy yields the greatest returns, the people and pursuits that deserve the most focused and vibrant version of you, not the diluted remnants left after countless meaningless distractions. Picture a single candle flame. The more people you allow to light their own candles from your flame, the dimmer your own light becomes. Eventually you are left in the darkness, wondering what happened to the warmth and illumination you once possessed. The Stoic, however, acts as a vigilant guardian of their inner flame. They shield it from the winds of external demands and carefully reserve their fuel for what truly nourishes and sustains it. They understand that burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a stark indicator of misalignment, a sign that your precious energy is being mismanaged. Guarding your energy begins with profound clarity, a clear understanding of who you are, what you are striving to build, and who you are truly responsible for. Without this inner compass, you become susceptible to the allure of pleasing, appeasing, and rescuing, forgetting that your primary responsibility is to honor your highest self. Withdrawal when needed isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Stepping back without apology isn't rudeness, it's self-respect. Saying no without guilt isn't unkind. It's a necessary act of self-preservation. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and the most profound gift you can offer the world is your own vibrant, fully charged presence. The potent power of stillness, finding yourself in the sanctuary of silence. Imagine the relentless cacophony of modern life, the constant ping of notifications, the endless stream of conversations, the pervasive hum of the digital world. In this relentless noise, the subtle whispers of your own inner voice become drowned out. The profound truths that reside within remain buried beneath layers of distraction. The Stoics, those masters of inner peace, understood that silence wasn't merely the absence of sound. It was a potent sanctuary, a space for profound self-discovery and the cultivation of inner strength. They practiced silence not as an escape from the world, but as a powerful form of confrontation with the self. When the external noise finally subsides, the internal landscape begins to reveal itself with startling clarity. Thoughts that were once submerged beneath the busyness of life rise to the surface, long-avoided emotions make their presence known, and the subtle patterns of your own inner workings become apparent. This outer stillness creates the necessary space for an inner reckoning, a truthful accounting with yourself, and from this honest self-awareness emerges a profound and unwavering power. Most people, however, harbor a deep-seated fear of silence, often because they have never truly made peace with their own company. They surround themselves with a constant shield of noise, perpetual music, relentless notifications, endless conversations, because the prospect of being alone with their own thoughts feels profoundly uncomfortable. But the Stoics recognized that discomfort isn't something to be avoided. It's often a powerful teacher, a signpost pointing towards areas that require attention and growth. The silence that unsettles you is often the very silence that reveals you, stripping away the superficial layers and exposing the authentic self beneath. If you are perpetually accessible, constantly engaged in responding, replying, and reacting, you rob yourself of this vital space for introspection. You lose the thread of your own inner narrative, becoming lost in the chorus of external voices and forgetting the unique melody of your own. There is a profound wisdom that can only be unearthed in the quiet solitude of your own mind, a strength that only emerges when you create space for it to blossom, and a clarity that only arrives when all the external clamor finally fades away. True strength, the Stoics understood, isn't found in constant connection and external validation, but in the courageous ability to disconnect with intention. It's in the willingness to unplug, to withdraw from the digital deluge, to let go of the illusion that your relevance is directly proportional to your availability. The Stoic doesn't fear absence. They embrace it as a strategic tool, creating distance not to be aloof, but to realign with their core principles, to quiet the incessant chatter of the mind and to sharpen the spirit. Carving out even a few moments of stillness in your day is a profound gift you give to yourself, a chance to reset your internal compass and regain perspective. Like a pond that settles when undisturbed, the mind reveals its hidden depths only when it is allowed to be still. The chaos of everyday life muddies the waters of our thoughts, but silence allows them to clear, revealing the wisdom that lies beneath. When you consciously choose to stop talking, you finally create the space to truly listen, and what you hear within is often precisely what you need to navigate the complexities of life with greater wisdom and resilience. Distance in this context isn't detachment. It's a disciplined choice to step back so that you can step inward. A powerful declaration: I will not be consumed by the relentless pace of others. I will not trade my inner peace for fleeting popularity. I will not scatter myself thin just for the sake of being seen. 5. The sacred sanctuary of your inner circle. The art of discernment in relationships. Imagine your inner circle, those closest to you, the confidants and companions who share your journey, as an extension of your very soul, a sacred and fertile ground that profoundly shapes who you become. The Stoics, keen observers of human nature, understood the immense power of proximity and the critical importance of guarding this inner sanctum with fierce discernment. The individuals you allow closest to you exert a subtle yet profound influence on your habits, your emotional landscape, and your fundamental worldview, often more than you consciously realize. They recognized that the wrong company isn't merely unhelpful. It can be actively detrimental to the disciplined mind, a subtle erosion of your carefully cultivated values and aspirations. Not every acquaintance is a true friend. Not every request is harmless, and not every invitation is a genuine opportunity for growth. Some are subtle tests of your boundaries, others are mere distractions from your chosen path, and some can even be insidious forces subtly pulling you away from the person you aspire to be. The Stoic, cutting through the superficiality of social politeness, asks the hard, essential questions. What is the true cost of this interaction? Who is this person in the grand scheme of my life? Does this connection serve the person I am striving to become? Does this interaction pull me closer to virtue or drag me further away from it? Cultivating a strong and resilient inner life necessitates a conscious selectivity in your outer engagements. You don't need a sprawling network of superficial acquaintances. What truly nourishes the soul is a small, carefully chosen circle of individuals who challenge you to grow, uplift your spirit, and walk alongside you in truth and integrity. A single friend grounded in unwavering principles is worth far more than a crowd of companions built on mere convenience or fleeting shared interests. A wise ally will inspire you to reach higher, while a foolish companion will only provide fleeting entertainment as you stagnate. Every yes you extend outside this vital circle is, in essence, a no to something within it, a missed opportunity for deeper connection with loved ones, a stolen moment of personal reflection, a depletion of energy that could have been invested in your own growth. Consider the seemingly small losses. The dinner you felt obligated to attend that stole a precious evening with your child. The tedious conversation you endured out of politeness that drained your presence from someone who truly needed your support. the favor you couldn't bring yourself to refuse, that left you depleted of the energy required for your own vital pursuits like writing, meditating, or simply resting. These aren't insignificant sacrifices, they are subtle spiritual leaks that over time can empty you of your very purpose. You are not merely managing a schedule, you are shaping the very fabric of your soul. Your calendar serves as a stark mirror reflecting your true priorities, and your time is the raw material from which your character is painstakingly built. Spend it wisely, choose it with courage, extend your yes with honor, and deliver your no with unwavering dignity. Those who genuinely love and respect you will understand and honor your boundaries. Those who don't will inadvertently reveal their true colors through their reaction to your self-imposed limits. The inner circle should be cultivated slowly, with trust earned rather than assumed, and guarded relentlessly. Let your time spent with others be purposeful and genuinely connecting, not driven by a need for performance or external validation. The Stoic doesn't fear solitude, for it is in those quiet moments that the true nature of our alliances is revealed. In silence, you will see who truly shows up, and in challenging times, you will know who remains steadfast. Protecting your inner peace by being selective about your company may occasionally lead to unpopularity, but it will always lead to a deeper, more authentic form of personal power. Remember, choosing not to be universally accessible isn't an act of withdrawal from the world. It's a conscious act of prioritization, the wisdom to discern what truly matters, and the courage to fiercely protect it. It's not arrogance, it's alignment with your deepest values. It's not selfishness, it's responsible stewardship of your most precious relationships and your own well-being. And in this deliberate practice lies the foundation of true strength, unwavering clarity, and profound influence. 6. The empowering principle of scarcity, value born from deliberate appearance. Imagine a common pebble lying on the beach, abundant, easily found, and largely overlooked. Now picture a rare, shimmering gemstone, discovered after diligent searching. Its scarcity imbues it with value, commanding attention and respect. The Stoics, astute observers of both the natural world and human psychology, understood this fundamental principle. What is rare is inherently valued, while what is perpetually available often fades into the background of our awareness, becoming ordinary and easily dismissed. True strength, they recognized, isn't found in constant exposure and relentless self-promotion, but in the deliberate and intentional act of appearing. When something is omnipresent, constantly vying for our attention, it inevitably blends into the background noise, losing its distinctiveness and impact. Conversely, when your presence is rationed wisely, when you choose your moments to engage with intention, you cultivate a sense of significance. It's not about arrogance or playing manipulative games. It stems from a deep sense of self-awareness and a profound understanding of how human perception operates. When you learn to consciously step back from the incessant crowd, to offer your voice only when it truly holds weight, to appear only when your presence genuinely adds value, you transform into someone of consequence. Your words carry greater impact precisely because you don't squander them on trivialities, and your actions stand out because they aren't diluted by a constant stream of less meaningful engagements. The Stoics didn't simply exist. They lived with a profound sense of meaning, and meaning, they understood, invariably begins with a degree of mindful restraint. The modern world often mistakenly equates constant accessibility with significance, confusing the sheer volume of presence with genuine influence. But noise is not impact, and being seen frequently is a far cry from being remembered deeply. The Stoic doesn't strive to be everywhere. Their focus lies on being profoundly impactful wherever they choose to be present. It's not the breadth of their reach that defines them, but the depth of their engagement. The less frequently they appear, the more meaningful their presence becomes, because it's not about what they constantly project, but about what they thoughtfully withhold until the precise moment it truly matters. You don't need to attend every gathering, offer your opinion on every fleeting online debate, or weigh in on every passing conversation to earn respect. In fact, the opposite is often true. The Stoic doesn't announce their arrival. They carry themselves with an inner dignity that speaks volumes even in their absence. Their reputation isn't maintained through relentless social performance, but through the unwavering consistency of their principles. Their absence often speaks more powerfully than the constant clamor of others. Their silence possesses a distinct shape, and their withdrawal serves a clear and deliberate purpose. Learn to withdraw strategically. Be the individual who is genuinely missed when absent, not the one whose presence is simply assumed as a matter of course. Let your decisions be so intentional, your contributions so meaningful, that your absence itself carries a subtle yet undeniable influence. Allow your value to appreciate in the moments when you are not physically present, because those who truly recognize your worth are the ones who will notice your absence. And when you do return, let it not be as someone scrambling to regain attention, but as someone whose impact lingered even in their physical absence, someone who was never truly forgotten. This path, the Stoics understood, requires a certain degree of courage, the courage to disappoint expectations, to utter no when yes would be the easier, more socially palatable response, to leave messages unanswered for a duration longer than the modern expectation of instantaneity, and even to risk being temporarily misunderstood. But every no offered with conviction, rooted in a clear understanding of your priorities and the value of your own resources, is ultimately a resounding yes to something far more significant: your own self-discipline, your inner peace, and the cultivation of a life lived with intention and profound meaning. In essence, the Stoic wisdom of not being so accessible isn't a prescription for isolation or a license for indifference. Instead, it's a profound call to reclaim ownership of our most precious resources, our time, our energy, and the very space of our minds. In a world that often equates value with constant availability, the Stoics offer a powerful counter-narrative, revealing that true strength, influence, and inner peace are often cultivated in the deliberate spaces we create through thoughtful restraint. By understanding the paradox of presence, we learn that our impact deepens when our engagement is intentional, not constant. By fortifying the fortress of our minds, we protect our clarity and cultivate wisdom amidst the ceaseless noise. By guarding our energy, we ensure we have the vital force to invest in what truly matters, rather than being depleted by the demands of the trivial. By embracing silence and space, we reconnect with our inner selves and discover profound truths that are often lost in the clamor of external life. By carefully curating our inner circle, we surround ourselves with those who uplift and challenge us, fostering genuine growth. And by understanding the power of scarcity, we recognize that our presence carries greater weight when it is not a constant expectation. Ultimately, the Stoic path of considered inaccessibility is a journey towards a more deliberate and meaningful existence. It's about shifting from a reactive stance to a proactive one, consciously choosing how and with whom we engage. It's about understanding that saying no is not an act of rejection, but an affirmation of our own value and priorities. It's about cultivating an inner strength that is not dependent on external validation, but rooted in the quiet confidence of a life lived with intention. So, as the demands of the modern world continue to pull us in countless directions, let us remember the enduring wisdom of the Stoics. Let us embrace the power of thoughtful restraint, the value of our inner sanctuaries, and the profound impact of a deliberately chosen presence. For in choosing not to be so accessible to everyone, we ultimately become more present and impactful for those who truly matter, and more importantly, for ourselves.